Neheb Dreadhorde Champion versus Multani Yavimaya Avatar. And I like this hand very much. We'll keep it. We'll go in for the Dwarven Ruins on turn 1. And then I think we surprise our opponent with a turn 2 Neheb. That will be a Mountain Mana Crypt into a Neheb. And then we can actually start. We could probably just go for World at War. Discard 3 other cards, maybe more than that. Yeah, I don't know how many cards, I can't work that out. And then we'll be able to flashback, seize the day. Yeah, we've got a basic plan for this game now. Multani, Yavimaya's Avatar, is a 6 mana 0/0 with reach and trample, gets +1/+1 per land you control and land in your graveyard. And for 2 mana, return 2 lands you control to its owner's hand. And return Multani from your graveyard to your hand, a means of dodging command attacks there. Let's go in for Dwarven Ruins, and there is no need for us to get down a Mana Crypt because we're not casting it. Our opponent's gotten into their own Mana Crypt, by the way. And they also have a Thaumatic Compass. Haven't seen this played very much in 1 vs 1. In multiplayer, it's a very good card, but I'm not sure how useful it is in a mono green build. In 1 vs 1. They are going for a Plains with that though. This is 3 and tap, search for a basic and put it into your hand. And then at the beginning of the end step, if you control 7 or more lands, it flips over into a Maze of Ith that taps for mana. Alright, there's another mountain, so we'll get that into play. We'll go for Mana Crypt. And we just need to hope that there's no Song of the Dryads or Lignify or Beast Within, any kind of green removal for our opponent, because we have not drawn into any haste. But like I was saying before, what we can do is go in for, get these cards in order, otherwise I will get itchy. We can go for World at War after the first post-combat main phase. There's an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. That'll be 5 mana. And then that does have rebound, so if we cast it from our hand, at the beginning of the next upkeep, we can cast it again for free. Yeah, so that's what we're going for next turn. And then we should be able to generate enough mana to flashback seize the day, actually. Or even just hard cast it, and then flashback. Yeah, I quite like that. If we discard these 4, then we can go for that. A Misty Rainforest from our opponent goes for a Snow-Covered Forest. And they don't quite have Multani mana yet. And going in for a Kodama's Reach, so when Multani does come down, it's going to be a big creature. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then they'll play the land, will be 6. Yeah, that's going to be a big creature. With Trample. Don't normally have trouble getting damage through with Neheb, but we're going to have trouble getting through this thing. Alright, Ruby Medallion I don't care about. We'll discard that. Let's go in for the Mountain. And then it's 2 mana, and then it's 5 mana into World at War. We swing in, discard 1, 2, oh no we don't, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Cast Seize the Day, swing in again, yeah. I think we might be able to get a victory off here. We'll go for World at War first. That gives us an additional combat phase. And I don't know if I've been over our commander actually. I've been wittering on at all the plays we could make. And I haven't actually explained. That's a 5/4 with Trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, discard any number of cards. Draw that many and add that much red. So that triggers because we've hit our opponent. We want to generate 4 mana here for Seize the Day. So we'll discard 4 cards. This will draw us 4. And have us generate 4 mana. And the mana doesn't empty as phase and steps end. Relentless Assault is untap all creatures that attack this turn. And after this main phase, there's an additional combat phase. We'll just go in for Seize the Day, I think. And it would be really good to get some double strike damage on our opponent. But we'll just see what we draw into. We're going to get into another combat phase here. And our opponent scoops, that's a shame. I don't actually know if we had the victory there, and neither does our opponent, so scooping there seems quite silly. Yeah, we would have just drawn into a bunch of lands there, and then we would have discarded those 4 and gone in for 4 more cards that weren't really of any relevance. And then I think flashback on Seize the Day after that would have been another combat step. And then this is a free extra combat step. Untap all creatures. We can exile 2 red cards from our hand rather than pay its mana cost. We wouldn't have had 2 red cards in hand because we kept drawing into lands. So yeah, I don't know if we would have gotten the victory off there. We were going to be pretty close to it, but I haven't actually worked that out, so some bright spark in the comment section can tell us if that was a win or not. But anyway, Neheb, Dreadhorde Champion versus Multani. Let's see if we can get another game going. Neheb, Dreadhorde Champion versus Kresh the Bloodbraided. Been seeing this quite regularly recently. I don't know why everyone suddenly jumped onto Kresh. What do we have there? We have a lot of stuff with no lands is what we have, so let's mulligan. Alright, Mox Amber with Captain Lannery Storm is quite good. We can go for Desperate Ritual into Lannery Storm as well, so I quite like that. Unfortunately, we're going to end up binning a lot of our hand, which means that our commander isn't going to be anywhere near as good. But it's the best shot we've got currently, so we'll just have to aim for that. We'll definitely put a land on top. Play the mountain. And get on with the game. Neheb, Dreadhorde Champion is a 4-mana 5/4 with trample. When it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, we can discard any number of cards. If we do, we draw that many and add that much red. So let's get into the Desperate Ritual here. Or do we want to save? No, what we could do, now that we've got a land, actually, we could just go for Neheb. I actually like that better, so let's wait a turn. I got a little bit of tunnel vision there, trying to activate the Mox Amber by having another legendary creature in play. But actually, yeah, I think it's better to go for Desperate Ritual into Neheb. Kresh the Bloodbraided, by the way, is a 5-mana Jund commander, a 3/3. Whenever another creature dies, you may put X plus counters on it, where X is the power of the creature that died. Alright, we'll go in for another mountain here with wooded foothills. And then it's Desperate Ritual. 2 mana gives us 3 mana. And then we tap our last mountain and go in for Neheb. And just hope that we don't see any kind of removal. Now what we want to do here is swing in at our opponent, discard as many cards as we can spare to generate mana and get card filtering. And then we can go for double striking effects and extra turn spells, or extra combat phases mainly, as opposed to extra turns. Not too worried about Atagery because we're not going to force our opponent to sack stuff. And this thing has trample anyway. Do we go in for another land here? I don't think we do actually. Yeah, let's go in for a land. And then swing in at our opponent. We'll discard all 4 of those cards. We want to discard as much as we can to generate mana. Obviously not going to block here, so we just deal 5 points of commander damage. Discard all 4 of these. And then it's Blood Moon. I don't think Blood Moon is all that effective. I think we'll just wheel here actually. We'll say that our opponent is a foe and we are friend. That means we wheel and we deal damage to our opponent equal to the number of cards in their hand. Uncaged Fury. Wheel of Fate is worth casting actually. I don't like to empty my hand in this deck because the more we empty our hand, the less potent Neheb is. But the sooner we can get into wheels, the better. And Uncaged Fury and other double striking spells are really good when we can chain multiple combat phases together, because Neheb will keep double strike throughout all the different combat phases as long as we don't start another turn. The Wheel of Fate has 4 suspend counters on it, now 3. Lotus Petal is discard fodder, I think. Let's just go for Uncaged Fury. That's +1/+1 and double strike. And then we'll most likely discard all 3 cards here, I think. That's the first hit. Oh, and the game's ended. Yeah, our opponent's just quit out again. What would that have been? 11 and then up to 17. So with the first lot, we would have drawn into... Oh, actually, yeah, I think that would have been game then anyway. Not that our opponent knew that. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. People quit way too easily on Magic Online. Yeah, so our aim there would have been to discard these 3 cards. We would have had 3 mana floating. And then, thanks to Fury of the Horde and a couple of lucky draws there, we could have cast this for free by exiling 2 red cards from our hand, which of course would have been Bolt Bend and Aggravated Assault. That would have been an additional combat phase. Neheb still would have had double strike, so we would have gone in for lethal commander damage on our opponent. That's exactly how we want to run this deck. Not too happy about ditching so many cards in the early game, but I think going for Neheb instead of the Lannery Storm, which I nearly did, was definitely a better play there, and we got a fast win on our opponent. Hope you all enjoyed. Neheb Dreadhorde Champion. This time we were up against Kresh the Bloodbraided. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.
Doesn't use you.